Welcome back to part 2 of CMD Scripting. Make sure to check out part 1 if you have not already. Previously, we talked about all the different ways to create and import scripts along with basic wildcard variables. Today we're going to show you a few more commands and maybe we'll inspire someone to give CMD Scripting a shot. It's a great precursor to the upcoming Ruby Dungeon programming series. The only thing you need the game client for is to import and run the script. Your coding can be done directly in Notepad as demonstrated last time. Coders beware. If you are writing something inside the game client and hit the escape key, all your work will be lost with no undo. It's just easier to write in Notepad and import. I'll show you what the commands look like in Notepad and then how they execute in the game world. The first command we're learning today is the £, or a comment. This tells the computer to ignore that line. You use this to write notes throughout your script for yourself and others to read so they know how your creation works. You can use this command to quickly disable or enable multiple lines of code on the fly. The comments aren't displayed to the person running the script. So what if we wanted to show some text? We need the echo command. Echo by itself just inserts a blank line. If you add something in quotes after the word echo, it will display that on your screen. It doesn't enter it as a command, it's just a visual for the person running the script. So if you are wanting to make something more complex, you can use echo "I'm in this part of the script" to help visually debug code or add flavor text to your art. Notice there are blank lines inserted before the echoes with text. You can create large blocks of space by using multiple echoes stacked together. Experiment as you like. Next up is wait for. Wait for some kind of game response. So if we typed wait for you nod period, the script will stop executing commands until it receives that response from the game. If we manually nod, the script will continue. Next up is pause. Pause by itself just pauses the script 1 second at that spot. You can specify a number after pause to pause for that many seconds. Pause 120 would pause for 2 minutes. When you start a script, it always enters the commands from top to bottom, but what if you wanted to run commands out of order and skip around? We'll need labels and go to. Most commands you enter are always in lowercase. You can use all caps for labels, and I often do just to make them stand out a little better. A label name will always be followed by a colon. The go to trigger will use the full caps label name without the colon. Here's an example. The script runs and the first line is a label, so it starts running the commands under that label. When it gets to go to, it jumps to the label name that matches and starts running those commands. Finally being told to go to the third label, and then with no more commands, the script exits. Alright, let's add in some pauses right after the labels on this last script. This is a lesson I learned the hard way multiple times. We're about to create a loop, and when you're looping, you need pauses. Imagine if you got on a roller coaster and there was no speed limit in place. So once it started, it just went as fast as it possibly could until either the ride breaks or you become ill. A computer being told to run in a circle forever will do so faster than you could possibly imagine, and every time it does, it uses system resources. When writing basic CMD scripts in GemStone, it's probably not a catastrophic thing, but especially if you go on to code in Ruby, not adding sufficient pause could make the software overwork or negatively impact your computer hardware. After the pauses are in place, to create a loop, just add an extra go-to that redirects the command flow back to the beginning or wherever. Now when you run the .test script, it will repeatedly ask who's on first, second, and third. Hitting the escape key will abort the loop. Now we talk 2 final commands, match and match wait. This is similar to combining wait for and labels. Use match followed by the label name and the wait for string you want to look for, and match wait to pause the script until it receives one of the pre-programmed desired responses. The start is where things will begin. This will give a user a list of commands, and if they perform one of the expected responses, it will travel to the corresponding label. With the pauses and go-tos leading back to start, we've created a loop game of sorts that you can play. Most of what we covered works in tandem with each other, so you can use variables and script code to make several scripts call each other. Here's a very simple example. And that covers all the advanced stuff I'm familiar with. There's a few more commands like shift and if, but I just don't know them well enough in CMD to cover them in a video. We'll use lots of ifs in Lich Ruby though. Let me know what you thought of this 2-part CMD coding series, either by liking, disliking, or commenting on these videos. Happy coding, and catch you next time.